afternoon, my people. We're doing a UFO story. While we're listening to Gigi. Okay. The sun is out. Beautiful day. You're gonna like this story.
Blue's from other side of the world too, right? Another continent. It's not from the US.
You're gonna like this.
I'll show you. Oh yeah.
The story, it's called "The Yetis Are Taken by the UFO." Okay, this is a translation, very summarized, of this case.
They get the wrong rub of America though, and it seems like
It does unite these two situations: observation of a UFO by several witnesses, landing, observation of the occupants, looking like Bigfoot yetis, you know what I mean? And they also received a telepathic message. This was investigated by Dr. Berthold Erich Schwarz, well known by the readers on the research for the UFOs.
Not in a lot, like small increments.
We're talking about a big report of about 100 cases of observations of creatures like primate, like a gorilla, and they happened on the west part of Pennsylvania.
Looking in the middle, like there's no destruction. It was like, wow.
And it's reported that it was almost like an epidemic.
Destruction, right? It's weird. Why can't I hear it?
Okay, so now these researches were made by people as qualified as Dr. Schwartz, Alan No, administrator of the group Situ, created by Ivan T. Sanderson, Stan Gordon, director of the Group of Studies of UFOs of Westmoreland County,
see how we handled it? Yeah.
And another specialist in radiations of civil defense, a teacher of... Sim? Peraí. Okay, and to end, there was an old pilot of the Air Force. They revealed that a farm worker from Greensburg and another 15 people, so it was quite a lot of people, they were parents and friends, had observed on the 26th of October of 1973 a red shining ball in the sky. It was flying over the field at a great altitude. The man, here we call him Stephen, grabbed his rifle, 3060.
It's close, guys.
And accompanied by two neighbors, he decided to get closer
This is mushroom time.
where the UFO
I
had
don't think these mushrooms are
landed. It was about 9 o'clock at night,
They look yummy.
and when they
But,
arrived
I don't know. I do
closer,
not
the lights of the
trust
car
any mushroom
started
that I find, guys.
to
I only buy them.
the lights started to become a bit flaky.
Okay, so guys, apparently I stopped the video earlier, so I've started it right away.
The lights weren't working well.
Coming back now.
Okay, guys?
I'm gonna have a look on the recent dumping area, because I do know that there's some more mugs I forgot.
So when they arrived closer, the lights became weaker of the car. Meanwhile, the object was still going down. The three witnesses came out of the car and went to the place where they thought the object had landed.
So this is not easy. This is uphill.
The dog, Stephen had a dog, and he shown signs that he wasn't very happy. The object was now white, very shiny. The witnesses thought that it would be about 3 meters in diameter in a dome form. It made a noise similar to a lawing machine. Meanwhile, they were looking at the object. One of them screamed that there were two shadows that were crossing the door of this craft.
My friend was saying that he thought there
Because
was a fire
Stephen
here.
was short-sighted, he couldn't distinguish very well,
Even though, guys, there's
but his rifle was loaded with bullets, and the first bullet left a trace,
those trees.
and he threw in the direction of the creatures above their heads. The first one had about 2 meters, and the second 2 meters 40, more or less. They were both taller than the entrance, that would have about 1 meter 80 of height. One of the silhouettes slid the hand through the door, through the side of the door. These creatures were completely covered in hair, in fur, dark gray, and they had eyes of a green-yellow color. The arms would go almost to the ground, and the smaller one had big stride as to accompany the higher creature. These beings emitted some plangent sounds, just like a baby when he's crying, and they had a big, strong smell of burnt rubber.
Is it that old?
As they approximated
It does have a
slowly,
leather
the
strap,
three
so
people
it does look minimally alright. Okay, so guys,
Stephen
we'll check it out
shot
next week more.
a cartridge that went
think?
over their heads, noticing that they were different from anything he had seen until now. Afterwards, he threw 3 bullets directly at the highest creature. One of the youngest of the 3 humans that were there, his friends, ran in panic, running into the direction of the farm. When the creature was struck, it emitted a sound like it was in pain, and approximated the right hand to his partner, touching him very lightly on the shoulder.
let's wait for next week, guys. We could find some more little things. And
on this precise moment, the UFO, the bright UFO, disappeared, and the sound that he emitted stopped. The creatures, after being target for this rifle and this man, they slowly turned around and went in the direction of the woods.
And wait for my kids.
Stephen and his friend noticed
here we go.
that on the place where they had been, there was a strong light that you could still read the paper with this light. In this moment, the eyes of Stephen and his friend started to burn. Under brackets, after the incident, the horses and the bull never ever wanted to approximate from this place. Afterwards, even Stephen didn't have much need to call the police. He ended up calling them at 9:45, and the police burned, and Stephen came back with the police car, to the observation area. The luminosity persisted, and even the flashlight, the hand flashlight of the policeman, could hardly be seen under this bright luminosity. Suddenly, they heard the noise of a strong, something heavy that was walking near the bushes and the branches.
Some of them have some paintings,
and it was like squashing the bushes, and it seemed like it was getting closer to them.
Most likely I'll use it for vases.
For half an hour, they hesitated, approximated, and getting further from the noise. Stephen then threw a last cartridge to this black form that was coming on their direction. Afterwards, Stephen started to feel bad. He became white, and he screamed that something was coming from the woods. They jumped into the car, and they stayed 50 meters from the place, safe distance, until they were sure that it was safe.
And my people, John P. loves you, remember. Stay blessed.
Until they were sure that they were safe in the car of the policeman. About 1:30 hours in the morning, at 1:30 in the morning, a research group arrived to the farm, to the isolated farm, and went with Stephen to the field inside a truck. They were looking for any signs. They were looking for any signs.
Okay, so guys, apparently I stopped the video earlier. So
of their adventure, when suddenly Stephen started rubbing his head and his face. One of the men asked if he felt good, but Stephen was balancing forwards and backwards just like he was gonna faint.
Recent dumping area.
Two people present hold him because he was almost falling from, falling in, and and with a faint, you know. Stephen is 1 meter 80 and he's more height, and he weighs more than 100 kilos. Suddenly he started breathing
I'm lucky because I brought some good shoes.
nervously, like he was in a panic, and he was starting to make animal noises like a pig's noise, more or less, I think. He left the rifle on the ground.
Okay, let's go, guys.
And he even shoved the friend of his father.
My friend was saying that he thought there was a fire here.
Oh my god.
I don't think so. Even though, guys, there's a little trail that goes here. I don't know if
So
someone
he left the rifle on the ground. He dropped the rifle,
those trees.
and he shoved his father and his friend that were holding him. The dog starting to attack Stephen, but Stephen turned against him, and the dog started to do the noises like it was afraid. Then the dad and his friend called him, saying that everything was good and that they were going back to the car. When one of the people that was there also started to feel awkward and started feeling pale, and then he also fainted.
The exit.
Afterwards, a third person also had problems in breathing. During all this time, Stephen was running around, uh, doing pig noises, doing like animal noises, and then he fell heavily over his face in the field. He came to himself and he murmured, "Get away from me, he is over there. Get back." Precisely on this moment, all of them felt again a strong smell of ammonia and other chemical produces. One of the witnesses said, "Let's leave." Two of them helped Stephen to walk. When going down the hill, Stephen pointed to something and he shouted,
Okay, so guys,
"Get away
we'll
from
check it
that
out next
corner.
week more.
He is in the corner."
What do you think?
So guys, I'm gonna show you the photo again. This is the animal that he saw. So these are the beings, and these are the marks that they've left on the ground, I think. Interesting, guys. Very interesting.
Anyway, here next week.
Okay,
Found some more stuff.
one more page to go.
Well,
Stephen
just
starting
like-
murmuring again
Oh, that's a lot of stuff, guys. Fuck that. Let's go.
that he would protect the group, and also said
Already bring
that
a
he
few
had
stuff.
seen a man
I couldn't see much.
with
Let's wait for next
a
week,
black
guys.
hat
We could find some
and
more
a
little
cape,
things.
and he was also using
And
that utensil that is used on the communist sign. It's the hammer and the other utensil for the agriculture. So that's what he was carrying on his hand. And this man in the cape said to Stephen, "If this man does not amend himself, the end of the world is close." He also said,
and wait for my kids.
"Here,
And then
there is a man that can
here
save
we
the world."
go.
Okay? There is a man here that can save the world. Stephen said that he heard calling for his name on the woods. "Stephen, Stephen." Afterwards, he passed away, and his glasses fell on the ground. The report continues with a profusion of details about Stephen, his infant life, to determine the possible character of any psychosomatic of the incident. After Stephen accepted submitting himself to a psychiatric exam, here Stephen continued to affirm that he saw a man in a cape, in a black cape, and with a with one of those utensils that they use, that I just told you, the utensils of the communist symbol, not the hammer, the other one. Behind him there was fire, and in front of him there was a hangman, and on these hang the creatures. They were appealing to Stephen. Stephen, Stephen. One of them was laughing. So it does seem to be a little bit of they seem like they're playing a little bit with the humans, guys, doesn't it? They there is a little bit of that thing that we call, it's not cheekiness, it's like they kind of play with us. Very weird, guys. He says that this laugh drove him crazy. Even his hands would close into a fist because of this laugh. Behind us there was an intense light. In this light there was something that would tell me to go, to advance. Come on, come on, you can come. This terrorized me. I saw myself completely insane, like a powerful man that is not afraid of anything. The creatures continued to call me, saying, "Go, my son, nothing will happen to you." It looked to me like a sheep calling for her baby son. As I was walking in the direction of the corner of the woods, the creatures the creatures um, when I was walking in the direction of the corner of the woods, the children continued to scream and call for me. I looked at them and I could only think of death that was getting closer to me, without a face and a black cape. It was hate, a hate against everything and everyone. I knew that these things came from this power, from this energy, and and if they went to the light, they would be destroyed. The tension was very strong and I passed out. Afterwards, I heard, "He is here." But who is he? It was a puzzle that they were putting in my head. Someone told me, "This people walks for destruction." I could see constantly the date of 1976. 1976. These were the words that were leaving my mouth. If people don't amend themselves, the world, the whole world will be destroyed by fire. When we asked Stephen and his opinion about what had happened and why is that him, uh, a normal agricultural man and a miner, because he also worked in a mine, would have been chosen for this experience? And he answered, presently I live in hell. Whatever I'm telling you has happened before. It was like this how the earth, how our planet was destroyed. It is soon. Okay, so this is interesting here, guys, when he says, it was like this how earth was destroyed. So it is possible, guys, that these entities sent him a message to tell him that they themselves had left their planet because it was in flames because of war, and now they were looking for somewhere else to live in peace. I don't know, guys, very strange. um, he says, um, if nobody finds a solution, the world will end and we destroy the world. The fire, what fire is this? What is that the world will be destroyed with a fire? Is there anyone more malignant than ourselves? Question mark. I have to say this to the President of the United States because someone should know. Even though, to me, myself, it does look stupid, but this is stronger than me. It looks to me that someone else is receiving these informations, but they don't want to follow them. They are afraid. I don't know what happened at that spot and what those entities said to me, but I felt as bad as I was as an animal. If I could find anyone that would believe me, but 1976 is not too far. I don't believe that America lives in freedom for much longer because that was also said to me. And the world will end. The man destroys himself. This was the condensed summarizing of what happened. We put aside all of the evidence in favor of the authenticity of the case because it's because its reading would be fastidious. Fastidious. What is the explanation for all of this? Question mark. Paranoia? Schizophrenia? But if then, which reason do the several witnesses that saw a quantity of characteristics orthodox of the phenomenon UFO? Scientists and the policeman observed for several hours all of the classical effects of the UFO: object luminous, persisting light, smell, up left several marks on the ground. They also broke one of those train divisors for when the train is passing for the cars not to pass. Marks on the forest, etc. I selected this case not only for their psychic implications but also prophetic, which is also characteristic by the phenomenon UFO, but because he is the perfect example of a scenery that several years this phenomenon has been repeating itself thousands of times over all of the USA, even in Virginia from the west, even in New Jersey, and that if these and that um, and that have been meeting with these beings with looking like gorillas, thinking beings,
Come here next week. Focus on
or
this one.
an extraterrestrial animals,
Go on top of this one.
and they look like they have been brought by flying saucers. All over, there are thousands of people that constantly say that they
Where are you bringing
seen
new stuff?
a species of gorilla,
So
a
much.
yeti, that was
That's
spreading
it for next week, guys.
a very
Find some
strong
more water.
smell, very strong smell, actually a choking strong smell,
See,
and under brackets, reminiscences of the histories of the apparitions of the devil in the dark ages, close brackets, and that you could not grab them. They are invulnerable. They appear in the more several places, in highways, scaring the children, near isolated farms, leaving behind them these smells that never
looks yummy.
disappear. Maybe they never disappeared because they become invisible
I don't know,
and
guys.
they are still there,
To
and
be
that's why the
honest,
smell
I don't
persists.
trust any
Or it's
mushroom that I
maybe
find,
their
guys.
urine, you know.
I'm
Could
with
be just
Baba.
their urine. Um,
Okay, so guys,
they also
apparently
caused
I
for
stopped
some
the video
times
earlier,
psychic effects.
so I've
There were
started
witnesses
it right
that
away.
changed
Noticed it
their
stopped.
personality completely. Okay?
Back now. The
Okay,
recent
guys. So
camping area,
we're gonna stay here today.
because I do know that there's some more
This is
mugs I
chapter
forgot.
51
Just 2 or 3 mugs.
of this book, Mystery of the UFO, Jack Perrin. We're almost finishing it, guys. Very close. John P. loves ya. See you soon. Big blessings for
Some
our
species
Floridian friends.
up here in
Hope everything
Fairbanks.
went well after this storm. Big hugs and blessings to everybody. John P. loves you.